What's going on, everyone? This is Fight Words with Kev and Shelz. I'm Shelz.
Kev, 8 Count Sports. What's going on? What's going on, man?
Good, brother. What's going on with yourself?
Everything good. Everything good. Same old, same old. Excited about tomorrow night.
Man, even more so after the press conference, man.
Oh,
UFC 296, Las Vegas. Headlining between Edwards and Covington. Like, it's a crazy one, bro.
Yo, it was a mess. It was a mess.
No, it was chaos.
Perfect.
It was chaos. It was chaos, bro. It was chaos.
Absolute madness, man.
Let's get into it, bro. I mean, let's get straight to. First of all, Covington's the whole package, man. He did the whole package today. He came in a certain attire. He came with a certain attitude. He came with all the insults. He attacked everybody. No holds barred. He attacked Ferguson. He attacked Wonder Boy, and of course he attacked Edwards. And the headlining attack of the press conferences when he went after Edwards' deceased father, saying that he would take Edwards down to the 7 levels of hell and they could say hi to his father while they're down there.
Yeah, that was crazy.
How about that?
That was crazy.
You think it was crossing the line?
That was beyond crossing the line, but this is nothing new for Colby Covington. As we'll discuss later, the reason why he's been out for this excess long amount of time, more than a year, is because of the same situation. Did this with somebody else. Things got crazy outside the octagon.
Just say it. Just fill it out.
Listen, man, in Kobe's last fight against Masvidal, he went off, running off at the mouth, talking about his wife, his kids, talking about he's a deadbeat. And the thing was, Masvidal, they knew each other. They actually trained together deep. They had a relationship with each other. So I think that adds to, it's one thing when somebody doesn't know you and you going into the fight and they're saying stuff, but if the person knows you, who knows what part of that actually stuck with Masvidal? It may not just be the disrespect of mentioning my wife, It may be the disrespect of, all right, this and you're saying this. So it could have been. And what ended up happening, folks, Colby Covington got the win over Masvidal, one-sided. Masvidal, after this fight, I'll never forget it. Masvidal was saying after this fight, it's not over. If you read his lips, he was saying this is not over.
I mean, since we going back in time, let's talk about that real quick. I mean, first of all, overall, Covington's a genius, I think, at promoting fights. Because at the end of the day, like, we was talking about it earlier. These fights are for prices of worth millions of dollars, bro. This is life-changing, generational wealth money these guys are fighting for. And you're talking about Masvidal and Covington. I would say this. He said we had to sit to promote the fight so they could get the biggest purse possible. And on top of that, you attack me outside the octagon. Now I'm sue you. So I'm an extra bag. So it's like if the end goal is to make this money, which is when he shook Usman's hand and said after they fight, he shook Usman and said, "Listen, I really do respect you, but we're just selling the fight." That's when he broke. That's one of the rare times you see him break character. He's saying these things to sell these fights. It's the fight game. So I get what you're saying, 100%. I see the disgruntled look in your face, but at the end of the day, these dudes is fighting for crazy loot, bro. Fast forward back to Edwards and Covington. Bruh, this could be Covington's last shot at the title.
There it is.
If Covington loses this,
there it is.
I don't know if he would even have the motivation to continue fighting, because his next fight not gonna be a title. He might have to fight 2-3 more times before he gets another title shot. So at this point, it's all in or nothing, bro. Like, he's trying to walk up with that goal.
And let me ask you something. Why do you think it's all or nothing for him? Like, do you think any specific reasons?
I think that after this, it'll be a hard road back to a title shot again, and that won't be guaranteed. That's what that's.
So here's what I think. I've always thought this. When people talk trash and do extra stuff, when they call they shot and they win, it's great. It's great. It's the greatest thing in the world. You're like this hot. When you call your shot and you start taking L's, you're not fulfilling. Remember, he never won undisputed. This is not like Conor and one of them that was champ, and did. Kobe ain't win all of that yet. He hasn't cashed out on what he's been able to say. All of this extra stuff, he has not cashed out. This is why the pressure is on. Pressure's on him, bro. Like all of this talk. I had to go this route because of the. And look, it's not work. If the end goal, you say the end goal is to win money, that's cool. But to continue the legacy is to win the championship. It's to win the championship. Right. This is his third. I've said this stat before. Anybody, I feel like I've said this before. I heard anybody else saying this. Third title shot in 5 fights. In 5 fights, he wasn't the champ. It's not like a situation where he came into the situation a champ and he got a rematch. Nah, he wasn't the champion at all. Third, and this is his third crack in 5 fights. He hasn't fulfilled what he's supposed to, or what he set out and what he claims. All of this that he took, he has not fulfilled it. And if you take a look at his resume, I think his resume is a tad overrated as well. All of this is coming together, bro. Like, he's 35 now.
He is.
So, I mean, I think this is his last hoorah, bro. Potentially, unless he's going to jump in as a late replacement or feeling. And I feel like, let me take that back. This may not be his last hurrah. This is his last known hurrah. He may fit back on the bill in some capacity, doing what the company says or whatever. But as far as
this could be his but when I say final, I'm not saying this could be a last fight, but this like the I believe the division may go on
relevance.
Exactly.
Relevance.
I mean, but at the end of the day, your Covington is a genius promoter. Like, let me tell you something about his genius. This is the thing with me. He has attached himself to the MAGA movement. He has attached himself to the name of Trump. Like, he's going all in with, like you said, like, he's going all in with, it has to make sense. These wins have to happen. This is just a crazy hypothetical scenario. Could you imagine if he wins the championship this year, right, in 2023, and Trump wins the election next year in 2024? Like, he becomes the ultimate cash cow for that division and one of the captains for the UFC. So, like, he's really aligning himself up with, like you said, he's putting all the pressure on himself and hoping that a certain chain of events happen that'll be in his favor. Because if it works out for him, it's straight to the bank.
Right.
And I go back to saying this again. This is why, going back to the asking you if this is crossing the line. I mean, in a normal context, I say, of course, it is crossing the line. But in the fight game, when you're really trying to get in someone's head, when they're about to lock themselves in the octagon and try to decapitate each other, like, I'm trying to say whatever I need to say to throw him off of his pedestal. Okay. It could backfire on him too. It could definitely backfire because it could really fuel Edwards in a way he never been fueled before.
Right.
But if you push too much emotion in it, it could really, really hinder his chances of walking with that belt. And I'm talking about Edwards. And this is what Covington is betting on. It's a gamble. It's a gamble. It's a crazy gamble. And, like, you know what it's like? You know the saying crossing the Rubicon?
Yeah.
That's basically what he did. Like,
I just said, yeah. Whoa. Nah, go ahead.
Well, basically, like, it's like when Julius Caesar, when he was going to invade Rome,
okay.
there was a law that you couldn't cross a certain river. Because once you crossed this river, the Rubicon River, that was you officially invading Rome.
Okay.
So when he literally crossed the river, it was no turning back. It was all or nothing.
Yeah.
If he didn't conquer Rome, he would have been executed.
Yeah.
But because he did conquer Rome, we now know him as Julius Caesar, the great conqueror.
Yeah.
So this is what this is. Like, I'm going all in, and listen, if it pans out the way it's supposed to pan out, straight to the bank. Straight to the bank. He's going all out. With Covington, here's the thing with Covington. Covington wasn't always this guy. Covington was almost on his way out of the UFC. Well, you have your theory on him, but what I'm saying is this character that he's portraying whenever he promotes his fights, whenever he's in front of the camera. it was not until he went to Brazil that famous night and he insulted the whole crowd is when they kept it. He was about to be cut by the UFC was going to cut him because he was just a regular. He wasn't promoting. He didn't have that much of a personality. He wasn't promoting these fights. And it was that night. I think that night told him like, listen, man, I'm gonna go all out. I almost lost my career, my dream. He's been doing this for a minute now. This is not the first. He's been wrestling since I believe a little kid, bro. So it's like to have that kind of dedicate your whole life to one thing and to reach the pinnacle and to almost lose it all until you make a change, a switch. He's going all in now, bro. Like that's all. This is. He's putting all chips in, bro. All on green, not even black or red. He's going all on green, bro. So, did he go too far or not? I'll be able to answer that question for you after the fight. because that's how I'm able to judge a genius. How did it work out for him? Because he really Edwards' whole demeanor changed after that comment, bro.
They did.
And it didn't go back to where it was before the comment was said. So I'm not sure if Edwards, if Covington is living rent free in Edwards' head right now.
He may be.
I'm not sure how that will affect him in the octagon tomorrow night. Like it's an all out bet, bro.
I hear you. I don't. He went too far. I don't care what nobody say. Maybe I'm being too. I don't know what the name, but. To me, this is just to me, and I get it's the fight game. You need every advantage that you can, but you're just telling me that you unsure yourself. Like to me, is if you're telling me that it's because of money that he's doing all this, okay. I mean, I'm not gonna knock that, but if you're saying that I want to live rent free in your head, that means you have doubt. You're not. You wouldn't have to do all of that. If you're the better fighter, like you wouldn't have to stoop to this level. You wouldn't have to do any of that. Like I don't subscribe to Covington like that. I think, like I said before, the one knock I had on Edwards was that I felt like he didn't fight people that was in the top 10 like that. But he got the win over Usman, and he was streaking all the way through. When I look at Covington's resume, it's similar, but his claim to fame is to almost beating Usman. Almost. Like he never wins the big one. And I'm gonna scoot into, and that's gonna be a part of my prediction. Like I feel that when I compare the two fighters, like whenever, from what I've seen from Edwards, when he's had to dig deep, we've seen it against Nate Diaz, no matter what they say about Nate Diaz, Edwards had to hang in and pull that out. When he fought Usman, he had to hang in and pull that out both times. Every time he gets his journey to the title was hanging in there. He didn't go the Covington route. Folks, you don't have to go the Covington route. If you believe in yourself and you go hard enough, you can achieve that. Edwards is a prime example of somebody having integrity and actually getting somewhere. You don't have to do all that. You don't have to. Now, you can. And that's the story of Covington. You can go that route and get riches or whatever, but you can do it the clean route too, and not violate anybody and not disrespect anybody and go that route.
Covington tried the clean route though. Covington did try the clean route, and it almost got him cut.
Almost, but he didn't. But unlike Edwards, he didn't stay the course. Edwards, wasn't this the same Edwards that got dropped off the list for not taking a fight against a guy that was behind him? Edwards had the rawest deal out of anybody. He got his title shot in line. He didn't have to do any of that. He waited to get that shot. And believe me, if there was anybody else with a bigger, Covington got the shot twice before Edwards. Yeah. Antics and all. Edwards took the long route. Paid his dues and got it. I like that a little more. I like that. That's me. That's me. I would. That Edwards is the example of not going that route, doing your thing, being patient, winning, and the winning at the end of his day, he won and knocked those doors down. Knocked it against the pound for pound, the same guy that Covington couldn't beat. The same guy that Covington did all of that stuff and did not beat, Edwards got it done, bro. He got it done. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. I get what you're saying. It's the fight game. I'm not knocking anything you just said. My thing is, it's not necessary. It's not really necessary. There's another way.
We'll see how necessary it was. We'll see how necessary it is after they bout. But since we go into predictions, you already said you already chose your guy. But how? What round? How you think he's coming out on top?
I think in the beginning, I ain't gonna lie to you. When I saw, I've been flip flopping on this because if you would have asked me after Covington beat Masvidal, like if this was the next fight, I'd have said he'd beat Edwards. I would say he'd beat. But a lot has happened since that night in March. Whole lot didn't happen. I don't know. Did Covington suffer some serious injury? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He's been radio silent over the last what 21 months. Quiet. To me, he just came out. He just came back outside like about a month ago. Like I don't know about that. I think whenever I feel like Covington's a front runner. I feel like he's a front runner. Like if things are going good and he can overwhelm you, because I know that I'm coming down. Covington is an excellent fighter. But let me not, because I may be coming down and saying the antics I think is trash, but as a fighter, he's excellent. He can switch it up. Incredible pace, a lot of endurance, stamina, all of that. And he switches well. He throws a volume of punches, and he can put sting on his punches too. Like a lot of times with volume guys, they know how to mix it up to where when they really want to zing you, they can do that as well. And Covington can really, if you're not careful, he can hurt you. So he has a lot of that. But to me, he's a front runner. Like when he's fought guys that couldn't keep up, and when he got in there with a guy that could, you kind of saw the result twice. Regardless of anything, you saw what you saw.
Yeah.
Leon Edwards is the exact opposite. Every time Leon Edwards have to pull it out, he's done so. I think the fight this week, this whole thing, I do think Covington is under his skin. And he looked like he was shaking how angry he was today at the weigh-in.
Yeah, yo.
So I don't know. Maybe Covington might have something there. But I think what's going to happen is, I think as the fight draws closer, the noise is going to get blocked out. I think there'll probably be some jitters early. But once the first round is out of the way and they get into the second round and the third, I think if Edwards, because I think Edwards will slow this fight down. And I think Covington's going to get caught. I got Edwards by stoppage. Stoppage.
What round?
Mid-third round. Early to mid-third.
Here's the next question. No, you got to figure it out. Give me a round, man.
I didn't hear what you said. Huh?
You said early or mid-third?
Early to mid-third. Okay. Early to mid-third.
My fault. Here's the second question. How many dudes you think it's going to take to pull Edwards off the after the stoppage? That's my concern. Like, bro, my concern is this. If this fight goes, let's say the first round is over and the bell rings, is Edwards going to stop if he's on top of Covington? Are they going to have to, like, pull him off? And if so, is this going to happen every round? How is the fight going to progress if that's the case? This is one of my worries, man. Like, how deep, how much is Covington in Edwards' head right now? I mean,
yeah, listen, man. Edwards is a gentleman, man. He's from England. Don't get me wrong. He hot right now. Look, if Edwards is doing all of that, he lost the fight. That means he didn't settle down. And Covington, if Edwards is there, he won't even have an opportunity to do that. Covington will be dominating this fight. If Edwards is in the mind frame of that, he won't even have the opportunity to have Covington in that situation. If it's that bad, he won't have the opportunity. Covington is too good. Covington is good.
All right, well, there you have it. Stoppage, third round. So it's not even gonna it's not even gonna be championship rounds. Is what you saying?
Nah, bro. This is a
Gotcha.
hunch. This is just a hunch. I get the impression that Edwards. See, here's the thing with Covington and Edwards. We know Covington's ceiling. The consensus is, and I don't 100% subscribe to this, but the consensus is, if Usman wasn't there, Covington will be world champion. That's the consensus, right? But we've seen him lose to Usman twice, so we've seen his ceiling. Edwards, we haven't seen his ceiling. He's a bit of an enigma in a sense. Like, we've seen him down and not lose. Like, we've seen the worst. The second fight against Usman, going into that last round, his demeanor was he lost the fight. We've seen him about as low. We've seen him against Nate Diaz pretty bad. Yeah. But as good as in his last fight against Usman, I'm not sure if that was his best performance. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not sure the head kick in the beginning of that fight, he took Usman down. And that was when the first time he got him down. And
the first one to take him down.
Every time I
this
think
is Usman. This is Usman in his prime. This is Usman the boogeyman.
Yo. So I don't think we've seen the best of Edwards, bro. Could he go in there and stink it up? Maybe. He's a bit of a mystery to me, but what if I think he's going to go in there, and as the fight progresses and he gets settled, I think Covington has to, bro. Covington has to. If Covington wins this fight, it's because he's too much. He's overwhelming Edwards like he does everybody else when he wins. Woodley, everybody overwhelming him. If the fight ain't going that way, Sheldon, Leon gonna stop him. Leon gonna stop him.
I got you. Nah, I got you. Well, let me I'm gonna say this about Edwards. One thing about Edwards, what I see he doesn't do well with is pressure, especially against a fighter who has good cardio. And Covington knows how to weaponize his cardio. That's his main attribute. He puts pressure on you through cardio. It's one of the reasons why everyone says that even though he did, everybody says Diaz is the one who won the fight, because after a while that cardio that Diaz had, but it was a little too late. And I'm not saying he would overcame if it was a few more rounds, but that cardio, that consistent cardio, that consistent pressure that Diaz was putting, like ever seemed like the kind of fight where, like, if he doesn't take you down, you keep coming at him, eventually it's gonna wear him down eventually. Yeah. And this is what Covington does. He wears you down. He just couldn't do it to Usman. Usman's another dude who weaponizes cardio.
Usman.
And that's why the consensus was, if Usman wasn't around, then Covington would be champ, because it was that cardio, that consistent cardio. That on top of the comment that Covington made, and I don't see his demeanor change. And another thing I noticed about Edwards is that when he's under pressure, he may do little tactics to try to cheat his way, or he may grab the glove, he may
grab the cage,
he does that. Right. And I didn't mind it because Usman was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But I feel if he gets in his, if Covington's already in his head, on top of that pressure, he may. That tells me that when the pressure's on Edwards, his discipline goes out the window. And if Covington is already in his head before the fight, that means his discipline is already shaky. And that would come to make mistakes. And Covington's not a dude that you make mistakes with. Because if he just needs one little opening, and he's on you, and he stays on you. That being said, I would say this. I do feel that even though I said, it may say that's not hypothetical, I do see that even with all of that, Edwards is still a fighter who knows how to weather a storm. Because you're right, he does dig deep. But to me, it seemed that he'll only be able to dig deep enough to withstand the onslaught. I don't know he will come out on top. I'll say 5-round decision, Covington.
I ain't mad at that. It's for me. It's a bit of a toss up.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a bit of a toss up. It's how I'm feeling right now.
Bro, see them two fights it's like seeing Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter. It's like the exact same dude. One got a red shirt, one got a white shirt, one got a red bandana, one got a blue bandana. It's like
it's an interesting matchup, bro. It's because you do see flaws in Edwards. It's there. Like his the fight where you won the belt. That it looked like Usman was winning, and then but then that's the thing about Edwards, bro. He's such to me like a question mark, and I don't know if I've seen his best performance. I don't know, and that's crazy to think. He knocked out the pound for pound best fighter in the world, and then beat him convincingly, and I'm still like, in those fights, there were moments in there where it wasn't a perfect fight.
But let me say this about that third fight that he had with Usman.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget that it seemed like Usman rushed into that fight injured.
Absolutely.
So was he even fighting the best Usman at the time?
Well, that's a great question. We didn't get around to that. Remember, we were questioning that when his last fight against Hamzat. It made us go back and question at what point did Usman fall off. Remember, we was it could have been as he was champ. Remember, we were laughing about
because
it
think about that. That's a good point. Because think about that. Like it was like because he was quiet for a bit. He had a hand injury. Mm-hmm. And when he came, it surprised me. I remember surprised both like, he coming back already. It seemed like it was rushed. It seemed like he rushed it.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like when he fought Hamzat, think about when he fought Hamzat, he had to use a replacement fight.
Yeah.
And look how good he fought against Hamzat. Like he put Hamzat through it. Hamzat had to fight for that to the point where Hamzat can't even come back because he's injured. So was Edwards even fighting the best Usman at the time?
That's a good question.
You know what I'm saying?
That was that was the question.
Question mark.
That is the question
mark with Edwards.
It is.
And I know this though. When Usman was the boogeyman, the one who really put him through the ringer was Covington.
It was Covington. It was Covington.
What I would the fight against Usman and Edwards that second time when Edwards won the championship. Besides it's such a question mark because first of all you had the first round was the best round for Edwards at the time when he did what no one ever did, which took down Usman.
Took him down.
But Usman dominated the rest of the fight until. I'm not gonna call it a fluke until
you better not call it a fluke. You was the main one saying it wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, I'm not gonna call it a fluke. I was gonna say he dug down, he dug deep and did the hill, but like he put it all in that. Like if that didn't succeed,
it'd have been over. It'd have been over.
He was down that whole fight. His leg was the eraser. It erased the whole because if Usman was able to withstand that and it went to decision, Usman would have kept the belt.
Yeah. But bro,
you get what I'm saying?
That's
At least
true.
with the fight against Usman and Covington those two times, it was a back and forth situation. Yeah. And both times Usman won by the skin of his teeth. It was a back and forth situation. So yeah, I give credit to Edwards for what he did to Usman, but was it the best Usman?
But we don't know.
We don't know.
Here's what I do know. He won it. He could have lost it. But it ain't go down like that.
A W is a W.
It ain't go down like that. And on top of that too, one thing about certain fighters, you got to remember something. Edwards is streaking. What I always say about a fighter that's streaking, Edwards is still streaking. He's streaking so far. He got 13 wins. And here's what people don't mention. The loss he had that before the 13 wins started was Usman. So he was streaking before that, lost to Usman, started streaking again, corrected the loss to Usman, beat him twice, doubled down, and it's still streaking. That's
you 100% right. You 100% right in Dubs, but again. He lost to Usman at his prime. What Usman did he beat? You get what I'm saying?
But that's the thing.
I'm not putting it on you, but you're right. You're absolutely right.
He beat him. No, nobody else to that point. Wait a second. We're saying this to that point. Who did beat Usman?
No one.
No, nothing is to say that Covington would have came in there on that night and beat Usman. We don't know that. He done lost him twice before that. Almost got stopped the first time. Got drugged the second time. He's almost out the second time. It was a good fight, but he almost got knocked out the second time. It's an interesting stylistic matchup. This matchup is interesting. Me and you've been waiting. I think you've been waiting for this fight specifically for the longest, and here we are.
No, put it in the clear. I wasn't waiting for the fight. I was just saying that it didn't make sense that the fight was taking this long to happen. That's what I was saying. I was saying it was holding things up. I was saying like, yo, bro, like come on, bro, like what are we doing? What are we doing? Like that's what I was saying. But you're right, like, and talking about digging deep, he lost. But remember, in the first fight, he fought with his broken jaw. Like he didn't come to his jaw broke like in the first or second round, and continue fighting.
I remember what round, but it got broke.
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a good one, man. Like
it's gonna be a good one. But here's the thing, bro. As much as we talk about Usman being where's Covington right now? Is this the same Covington that's for Usman that's gonna step into this ring?
That's a good question.
The two fights he's fought. Wait. Let me get this right. Before he got Usman, he had fought Woodley again. His opponent, his resume is Masvidal and Woodley. I don't know what their record was in their last 10 fights going into that. It's not like he's been fighting Murderer's Row, bro. So it's gonna be interesting. He has a style that to me that looks like it would give Edwards problems, but if Covington ain't Covington, even especially if he lost
especially after that alleged sucker punch.
Yeah.
How did he recover? That's the question too. How did he recover from that? Like that was a question I was asking myself. If he was recovering from something, that's why we see so silent for so long.
He fighting a dude that's on fire right now. This is going to be a interesting fight. But did the verbal get in his head? It is so much. We made our predictions. We gotta live with it. We talk like we second guessing ourselves. That's what I'm saying, because it's really a pick 'em fight. It's a pick 'em fight. It's a pick 'em fight. Yeah, it's definitely a pick 'em fight. Yeah, man.
So some other big names. Some of my men, T. Ferg,
oh man.
No. This is a segue because we were just talking about it as an all or nothing situation for Covington.
Man, oh man. I mean, is it an all or nothing for Ferguson at this point? I mean, I feel like 3 fights ago that was an all or nothing. These last few fights been all or nothing. No. I mean, if he wins this fight, what exactly does that mean?
It means he lives to fight another day. Yo, if he loses this fight, it's a 7-fight lunar streak. Like, he could be in danger of being cut at this point, bro.
Bro, I thought he was in danger of being cut like 3 fights ago. You would have thought. Man, I mean, I'm not wishing it on him. Don't get me wrong. This is a lot of fights to lose, bro.
So this is what tells me it's an all-or-nothing fight, Kev. This is what tells me it's an all-or-nothing fight. Pimblington, when he came into, like, Pimblington has had the greatest fall off as a in the terms of
popularity.
Popularity among the fans. Like when he first came into the UFC, he was like you could tell the UFC was, you could tell when the UFC was getting behind someone.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They push him as their new star.
Yeah.
And Pimblington's one dude that they was getting behind, like, this is gonna be our guy. The machine was getting behind him. And then he had an interview with Dana White talking about Ariel.
Yeah.
This is how you know things is bad when people defend Ariel. When you're at odds with Ariel and they're siding with Ariel, that's how you know how much your popularity has fallen off.
Yeah, that was a
They
mess.
had to fight against. That was a mess. That was a PR mess. They had to fight against
Jared Gordon, right? Was it Jared Gordon?
Bro,
that kid's name. I still remember his name. Yeah, he fought. That kid fought, man.
He fought, and the fans said that felt that and this was coming off of this was coming off of the Ariel situation where people was already not feeling him.
Right.
And then the way his performance and the way he seemed to over exaggerate how he performed against that fight, talking about just the fight tonight and things of that nature. That made him fall off even more.
Right.
The fact that it seems to me that they're trying to use Ferguson's name to give him a last oomph to keep him a relevant name among the fans. To me, that's what tells me. That's what it tells me. It tells me that it tells me that Ferguson right now is they're gonna use Ferguson step as a stool for Pemberton to find his way back into the likeness of the fans. That's what it says to me. It seemed like this was Ferguson's role right now, bro. Like when you need someone, when you need gatekeeper. This is a new term, bro. This is not even a gatekeeper. Gatekeeper is when they're trying to keep you from something. This is a guy that when they're trying to get your name back out there, bro. They're trying to get his name back out. To me, it seemed like they're trying to get Pemberton's name back out there, and they're using Ferguson to do so. But at the same time, if Ferguson beats Pemberton, like I said, this keeps him alive, bro. In more ways than one, because not only he just won his next, he finally broke his 6-fight loser streak, but he broke it fighting a prospect. He ended a hype train.
Yeah,
and the hype train where the fans wasn't feeling anyways.
Not the fans in the States. No.
Not the fans. If this fight happened a couple months earlier, then it would have been in England. But we all know how that went. It took too long. So now I'm in Vegas. So so that's what tells me this is all or nothing for Ferguson. Like they're using his name to prop a young up and comer. This is like a passion of the torch type fight. When you have a legend fighting an up and coming dude, is a passion of the torch type fight. He's a legend, bro.
It could be taken that way.
This man is a legend.
I don't know. I don't know. I think this fight was just put together. These two fighters don't seem to have anything relatively that I don't see the connection between the two fighters. I think that Tony at this point, because I know there was another fight where he was trying to just I think he just wants to get back in there as soon as possible and fight somebody. I know he wanted to jump in earlier too against somebody else. I think he wants to get back in there as soon as possible and not, just put the losses behind him. That's what I'm getting. Pemberton.
Yeah, but you can do it with anybody. Why Pemberton though? That's what I'm saying. Pemberton's a name.
Anybody. I mean, he's a name. I mean, it's cool, but I still don't see the connection between the both. What I do see, that I think that sparks my interest. I think this is a great opportunity for Pemberton, Patty the Batty, to really be the baddie. Like if he can whoop up on Tony Ferguson, this will make him like the ultimate heel. Like that's the only thing I really see. Yes, when you beat on a legend and you're a guy that the fans don't really like that. Oh my goodness!
Gaethje was the heel. Chandler didn't become the heel.
Gaethje, but listen, the fans not feeling Patty. Gaethje and them is different. That was not.
The fans in the States are not feeling Patty. I'm pretty sure if he goes to England, he'll get a standing ovation.
Where's the UFC take place 90% of the time? In the States. in England like that. That's like a twice a year.
Yeah, but I still feel this is a pass. To me, this feels like a passing of the torch fight.
It's not a passing of the torch. The torch, Tony's torch been passed. Nah, man.
Nah, as long as Tony
Tony has a name. When you passing the torch That's because the elder statesman still has something. That's when the elder statesman is relevant. There's something to pass.
Tony,
Like
Tony is still relevant. He's still a legend.
Stop it. He's a legend, but he's not. He has respectfully. I'm not trying to play him. This happens to fight. He's on a 6-fight losing streak. He's fighting Paddy Pimblton right now.
Bro,
let that process. They haven't even, bro. They've been carefully matched. Who is Paddy Pimblton fought? He's not even. Is he in the top 15? Like,
yeah, this is what I'm saying. I think this is all or nothing for Ferguson, bro.
No, I don't mind that. But the past,
they're trying to milk his name for everything that is worth at this point.
Which isn't, as far as relevancy is concerned, it isn't a lot right now. Right. It's not passing the torch, bro. There's no torch to pass in this fight.
Maybe the torch isn't as lit as it used to be, but it's still a flicker. That torch is still a little flicker.
If you beat, bro, if Paddy beats Tony Ferguson, I don't think it's a catch-22 for Paddy. This fight is a catch-22. If he loses this fight, it's not good, obviously, but he's not getting props for losing this fight, bro. Nobody's gonna say, "Oh, that's Tony Ferguson you lost to. It's all right." Nobody's gonna say that. And if he wins the fight, people are gonna say, if Paddy wins this fight, you know what people are gonna say? They're gonna be like, "Oh my!" They were like, "Yo, we gotta get Tony out of here, out of here." That's what's gonna happen. This for Paddy. You're saying it's a passing the choice for Paddy. This is a lose-lose. This fight is not a win.
Nah, it's
on
not
any level,
bro. I think
for Paddy it's a lose. For Tony, like you said, it keeps him in. It keeps him there. That's what it is. For Paddy, it's a lose, bro. He cannot lose this fight.
I think this, like I said, this is the point I'm trying to make. I see that the UFC, I feel that the UFC sees the star of Paddy Pimblton dwindling. So they need to put him in there with someone of notoriety, a name of notoriety, to keep his name alive, hoping that he performs well, so we could be reminded of why the UFC feels the UFC should be behind Pimblton. This is the whole point right now. That they put him against a name, and they put him against a name as in Ferguson because Ferguson is not already up there. It's hard to justify him find another big name based on his last performance. So you got to put him against a big name who isn't. Who's on his way downwards, which is basically what's happening right now. As far as we're seeing, after a 6-fight lose streak, he's on his way down. So when someone, that's why I say, to me, passing the torch is this: when a star's coming up and an elderman is coming down, and they cross paths, that fight in itself means passing the torch because they're passing ways. They're passing it to him so he could go on his way upward. Because the elderman is already on his way downwards, so he's passing the torch to him so you could go on his way. When you're up and coming fighting a legend, like if he was to be fighting Cowboy Cerrone, to me that's still a passing of the torch because the guy's a legend. Give me an example for passing the torch fight then, if you disagree with me. Give me a good example for passing the torch fight.
Good example of passing of the torch. I give you an example similar to this one that wasn't passing the torch.
Okay, give me that.
Boxing. Hector Macho Camacho against Sugar Ray Leonard. Like that was bad. Sugar Ray Leonard going into that fight, he had retired, unretired a bunch of times, and he still had the name of Sugar Ray Leonard. And when he got in the ring, he got smoked. Referee had to stop the fight. He got dropped so much times he looked like a shell of who he used to be. That's not passing the torch, bro. That's somebody that's washed. And that's, bro. This is what we've seen.
You think Ferguson is washed?
What's his last 6 fights, bro? What are we talking about? Who else who is on the UFC current roster that is on a 6-fight losing streak? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, bro. This is not passing the torch, bro.
So
this is passing the buck. This is passing the buck. This is not. Listen, no, bro. This is not that.
Something's still being passed.
It's
Will still be
not,
passed.
bro.
Give me example of a passing the torch fight in the UFC. Give me an example of a passing
In the
the torch.
UFC,
Yeah.
it's passing the torch.
Could it be
It's hard. It's hard to.
Could it be Izzy versus Could it be Izzy versus my man
Strickland?
I'm gonna forget this legend.
Strickland? Oh, Silva? Anderson Silva?
Yeah, Silva. Yeah, Anderson Silva, bro.
But yes, but there's a specific reason behind that. Because of their styles. Not only because how great Anderson Silva was, like you could tell in Izzy's style, he emulated Anderson Silva. So it was like a bit of a it was a passing of the torch, but not of relevancy. It was a passing of the torch of you're the second coming of me. Like you're the evolution. And you can see that because prior to Izzy, those are the names you mentioned as greatest middleweights of all time. It's Anderson Silva, and some people think it's Izzy. After Izzy had beat Pereira, that conversation was turning into Izzy. So that was a different situation. They had this is exactly what I said. When I mentioned Patty and Tony have nothing really like I don't really get the connection like that. With Silva and Silva wasn't as relevant, but they had that connection. He was the pound for pound. He was the greatest middleweight of all time, and their styles are similar. I'm pretty sure Izzy was saying, I watched Anderson Silva and I paid homage to him. They both nailed down at the end of the fight. Like they had a connection, and it was obvious. Before the fight was made, it was like, I want to see that fight. Not because Anderson Silva was going to beat Israel Adesanya. It was like, I just want to see how it was going to play out. It was like a homage. It was like paying homage. That was totally different. This is not that, bro. This is not that.
So you don't think, you telling me you don't think the UFC is banking on Paddy Pimblett beating Tony Ferguson?
What does that have to do with passing the torch?
You take it.
I mean, I mean, what do we say? I mean, I feel like you're saying a few different things. Okay, yes, they're probably banking on him beating him. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say banking. I mean, I guess.
I think it's banking.
I guess they could have another show in England. Yeah, they could sell England out, but I don't think beating Tony Ferguson right now is if he beats Ferguson, it's gonna turn into it's gonna be hate. Like, I mean, not hate like people. Like people gonna be like, yo, the story is gonna be not Paddy Pimblett winning against Tony Ferguson. Story is gonna be, I'm telling you, what are they gonna do with Tony Ferguson? That is by far the biggest story that's gonna come out of that. Not Paddy. He isn't there. Paddy isn't there yet, bro. For that, he isn't there for that recognition right now. He's not there yet. So they might have took a risk. They might have took a risk because when we get into this prediction, I think Ferguson gonna beat him. so they might have just shot themselves in the foot if they were if they were matching them up. I don't know. Before you
get to prediction, let me just make this point. Keyword recognition. Tony still has a name. As long as Tony still has a name, whoever he fights will still be sharing that legacy with him. The eyes will still be on.
Okay, you know what? Sharing a legacy? At what point? What legacy? What?
Covington goes on to be a star. A part of his resume will be he fought the legend Tony Ferguson. They'll still. What I'm saying is, as long as Tony has a name, there'll be eyes on his fight. As long as eyes on his fight, whoever he fights, their stock raises as well, especially if they beat him.
If Paddy Pimblett becomes a star, it would mean that he would have beaten way better fighters than Tony Ferguson. Nobody would even mention this. When people talk about Israel Adesanya, they don't mention that he fought Anderson Silva. I remember the fight. People don't mention that. That's not because he was on the downward. That's not even mentionable.
The scenario is still the same. If Silva's on the downward, so does Ferguson. But here's the thing with the Anderson Silva and Izzy fight. That fight, it was because you said because of the stylist. It was kind of promoted as like a fan. It's like a fan fantasy type fight. It was exactly. So that's not a good example of a good comparison to this Ferguson Pimblett situation, because if Pimblett beats him,
no, it is no comparison. Wait, time out. You told me to give an example of passing the torch in the UFC. I did not say.
I asked you would you consider
Okay, there is no comparison between both of these fights. This fight is, I don't know, thrown together from Tony Ferguson needed a fight. That's what I see. They both needed a fight.
Like, the way you said but the way you said like these two just needed a fight. You acting like they're two nobodies who the matchmakers just put together. These dudes have names, bro.
Bro. This fight on it's the intrigue to this fight is basically where both of the fighters are gonna end up after the fight.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But it's not heavy relevance behind the fight. Really, like when you actually look at it, it's not there. This is not a passing of the torch at all. Tony Ferguson, if I'm telling you, you have a young prospect that's here. He's a young prospect that's popular. And I'm telling you, at the end of this fight, the story, I don't know if we can agree on this. I would think the story is going to be, if Ferguson, especially if Ferguson, the story is going to be Ferguson. Either way. The story is Ferguson, bro. Like, if he lose, it's Ferguson. If he win, it's Ferguson. If Patty wins, people are gonna be like, you were supposed to, like, Ferguson is washed. It's not about Patty at all.
If Pimilton wins this, right, they're gonna set him up for another big fight, just because he beat Tony Ferguson.
A big fight.
Said that. It's gonna be justification because of how he performed against Gordon, and it was able to like really set him up with a big name. Him beating Ferguson is gonna set him up for.
You think him beating Gordon set him up for this?
No.
Oh,
what I'm saying is his performance against Gordon didn't allow them to push him to another big fight the way they would have wanted to, and I feel this is the purpose of the Tony Ferguson fight. If he beats Tony Ferguson, the UFC is going to have enough justification. Dana White's going to set it up during a press conference. I already see it. He's going to say, yeah, he beat a legend in Tony Ferguson. It was a hard fight. So we feel like they're going to set him up for another big fight. Just off if he beats Tony Ferguson. That's what I feel. Mm-hmm.
I think that he's going to need, I would think, this would have to be a barn burner. Because if he smokes Tony Ferguson, bro, it's just gonna look.
I think they're betting on that, Kev.
But I don't see the UFC matchmakers betting on that. Because we analyzing this fight. I don't see that happening. And Ferguson been sliding. I don't see that happening, bro. I'm telling you right now.
Ferguson.
If you thinking he gonna walk through Ferguson, I think. That means he's washed. That means he's beyond.
The pattern I've been seeing with these Ferguson fights is that he looks good until he gets knocked out spectacularly, or he gets put in a situation where it's worth the cameras. I think like this the UFC, bro. Like when they want a sacrificial lamb, they're gonna come up with one. I really do feel that. And if Tony Ferguson wins, it's still a win-win for them because he's still a name. And if he beats this young prospect and ends a hype train, we all be like, "Oh wow, Tony Ferguson is back." So it's a win-win for the UFC, bro. It's a win-win for the UFC, bro. They'll say he's back. They'll say the curse is over.
Well, they'll say that. They ain't gonna be saying Ferguson is back, bro. So we gonna throw him back in with Gaethje? We ready for Gaethje? We ready for after this? How do you match him? He doesn't look, bro. Beating Patty is a reflection on like. It's a reflection on Patty.
Yeah, that's what
you know what I'm saying. I don't. Who do you put Ferguson in the ring with, bro? In the lightweight division, he's in the. You kidding me? He done lost to Bobby Green. Who do you put him in with?
Kev,
he lost to everybody in the top.
Kev, this is my point. I think they're betting him losing. This is what I'm trying to tell you. I don't think the UFC.
But that's not what you just said. But I get what you said. But you just now brought the scenario. If he wins, Ferguson is back. I'm like, back where exactly? He's on the roster.
What I'm saying is,
he might not, bro. he might not be on the roster. They might cut him anyway. They don't even doing like the end of year cuts.
I don't see him cutting Ferguson if he wins this one. I don't see him cutting Ferguson. If Ferguson wins this, I don't see him cutting him. I don't see them. I don't think that they see him winning this. I think they're already prepared to cut him. Honestly, that's what I'm saying. This is an all out for Ferguson. I see them cutting him. If he loses this, I see him. I see Dana White saying, "I think it's time for Ferguson to hang it up."
He already said that. He said that after the last. He said after the last fight.
The fact that you said that means it goes to my point even more. They're milking his name for what it's worth. Let's put him against the young prospect who we're trying to get behind, and let's give him this one last fight so Pemberton could look good. That's what I see. This is the fight that to make Pemberton look good. That's the whole point of this.
It's an interesting fight. Whether or not they set it up that way so Pemberton look good, I just don't think. I think with how bad Ferguson has looked in his last fight, I don't think this raises Pemberton's profile as far as being a legitimate. I don't see that. I think the story is going to be Ferguson's wash. Why you still got him on? It's going. If he loses to Pemberton, bro, it's going to be like. It's going to be bad, bro. If he loses, that's going to be the story. Have you seen Patty fight? There's nothing in his style that would indicate that he would be able to beat Tony Ferguson. And if he does that, it would reflect on. It would reflect.
You're just gonna because you don't.
Yeah, because you keep saying it. I don't know what are you talking about. Yo, my prediction. I'll go first. I think Patty is a good fighter. He's okay. I think Ferguson. At least the Ferguson I've seen against Chandler. I think Ferguson is. If he doesn't win this fight,
what's the prediction?
What are we doing? Ferguson. Ferguson has to win this fight. I can't imagine Ferguson lose. No, I can't. No, I'm giving it to you. Okay. I can't imagine Ferguson losing this fight. I can't imagine him losing this fight. I don't think Patty is that good, and I don't think his stand up is great. His submissions, from what I've seen, are pretty good. When he gets close to you, when he's able to take you down, I can't see him overwhelming Tony Ferguson. I know he hasn't been Tony Ferguson, but I just don't think Patty is that good. So I'm going with Tony Ferguson by decision.
Decision?
Go decision. 3 rounds decision.
This is a hard one for me because I just thing with Tony is that he makes so many. He it is that it's this is the thing with Tony. Like Tony's still there somewhere, but he keeps making mistakes, bro. It's like that's always been the situation. Like he keeps ending up in situations where I really do think that Gaethje fight changed him, bro.
Yeah,
that Gaethje fight changed him. Like I never bro. Like I still remember when they had to stop it because like it was like his body was involuntarily backing up as he was shaking his head, and that's when they stopped the fight. Like he hasn't recovered from that, bro. Like Gaethje really did a number on. This was the Ferguson that we thought that had the answer to the Khabib riddle, bro.
Yeah.
This is 12 winning streak, Ferguson, man.
And just to add to what you're saying, a lot of his fights along the 12 fight winning streak were rough fights. He had a lot of barn burners on top of the Gaethje. You know what I'm saying? So that it ain't like he just woke up one day and fought Gaethje. He had a lot going into that. So it's a lot of miles on it. But go ahead, my fault. Yeah.
No. That's a good point made because this is what I'm saying. I'm about to add to it, and this is why I say Tony's still in there somewhere because even in his 6 fight losing streaks, that toughness never went away, bro. Like that toughness never went away. Like Tony never tapped. Like Tony would rather I remember when he was caught in the the cross arm. I forgot when Oliveira had him and he
Darius
wasn't
Oliver.
tapping, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, like Tony does not like he's there some, but just that he keeps making these mistakes, bro. And I really do think it has to do with that Gaethje situation, bro. And to say that he would win this fight is to suggest that he finally got over what Gaethje did to him. I think what Gaethje did to him was permanent, bro. I think that was permanent, bro. Like I see Pimilton winning, bro. I'm gonna give Tony some credit. I see him. Matter of fact, now I'm gonna say what I feel. I see Pimilton winning by submission in the second round.
Second round submission.
Second round submission, bro.
If that had that, wow. If that happens, that the story, and that's what I mean, bro. The story, it will be Tony is watched. I don't see Pimbleton getting any kind of shine for
Let
this.
me ask you this question: isn't the story already that Tony's washed?
Yeah, but Pimbleton isn't a bit like this is just reestablishing that narrative. Like, there's no if he was fighting Tony Ferguson and Ferguson was, let's just say, he lost 5 in a row, but then won 2, lost 1, and he was up and down, I can see where Pemberton will be getting like just a smidget of credit on nah, because Ferguson was still being competitive, and just ain't that. He is sliding out. This is a losing streak that when have we ever seen this in the UFC in recent years? Like that's like this is a crazy losing streak, bro. Patty beating him is not. Green beating him was a bit, to me, watching it. I by submission, that was crazy to me. I'm like, who does Bobby Green tap out? I've never seen that. I was. So, but that's what I'm saying. I know I get what that means as far as your prediction is saying, but in regards to Patty, this being a sacrificial lamb, so Patty, I don't think Patty's gonna be the story. I think that's the problem. Like if it was a Tony Ferguson who has the name but is kind of looking good, beating Tony Ferguson at this moment, bro, is not. It's not it. It's like an endless pit, bro.
This what I think. This what I think the disconnect is.
Question. Before you go, did anybody give Bobby Green any extra credit for beating Tony Ferguson? Like,
nah, Bobby Green. Honestly, Bobby name was getting up there. People was feeling Bobby.
They were feeling him, but did the Ferguson fight add to that?
I think so. Yo, they was feeling him. Yo, bro. People was feeling. Yo. If Bobby had beat Turner.
He was on fire before that. Bobby Green was on fire before that.
No, but what I'm saying is, I'm saying in regards to like him being Tony, adding to his star power. If Bobby, and this is what I'm saying, if Bobby had beat Turner, yo, people probably would have been he probably would have been a fight or two away from the championship. Like Bobby's name was getting up there, bro. Like people was feeling, like people was liking Bobby. I do believe that him beating Turner, it wasn't like a big like, oh, now we gotta it wasn't like we gotta put him on our shoulders and give him the
go ahead
the reef and
okay.
It wasn't that, but him beating Tony did add to like people people look, yo, people overlook that situation when he was suspended from
steroids or performance enhancement or whatever he had going on. Yeah.
Like he was back on the winning side, bro. Like Tony is still a name. Tony is still a beloved, a favorite in the UFC community, in the MMA community. I really do believe that if Pimilton beats him, this goes to the pause before you stop me. I think what you're saying right now, right? You're saying it from the perspective of an actual MMA purist fan. Cool.
Nah.
What I'm saying is, let me just finish what I'm saying. Let me just finish this point. What I'm saying is that Pimilton beating Ferguson will be all the ammo that the UFC needs. That's what I'm saying. It's what the UFC would need to justify pushing him forward. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what they're using Ferguson for, as a reason to push him forward.
All right,
Regardless of if
No, go.
no, I was gonna say regardless of what stage Ferguson was in his career when Pimblton beat him, and how much credit he really actually deserves for beating him in that stage of his career, the fact that he beat that name would be enough for the UFC to justifiably push him forward to maintain his star power. That's what I feel.
All
That's why
right,
I definitely feel that's it's an all-in situation for Tony Ferguson at this point.
all right, we agree to disagree. This is just a bit. I just think that the situation is becoming sad. Like losing to Pimblton, bro. I don't think Pimblton's that good. Like, and I'll be honest with you, I feel like a lot of people feel that way. Like, he's not.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. If someone would have come up to you a year and a half ago and said that Ferguson would lose one day to Bobby Green, would you believe him?
A year and a half ago, lose to Bobby Green. A year and a half ago, where were we a year and a half ago? Ferguson was probably on a 3-fight losing streak.
Yeah, around that.
It's believable. What I did.
You believe that Bobby Green? Okay.
No, I believe it. I wouldn't be surprised. Ferguson he had got knocked out about 2 separate times. It's like probably not the same fighter. I'm not saying that. Nah, that matters. Being knocked out, no, that matters. I'm not saying that. I know Bobby Green would have beat him, but if you said nah, Bobby Green would have beat him. 2 years ago, got to be what, the Chandler fight?
6 years ago. Yeah.
That's like the Chandler fight, after the Chandler fight, right? Roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could imagine it. What I did not. Here. Yeah, well, that's you. I don't know what you want, but here's what I wouldn't have thought he would have tapped him out like in the second round. That blew minds. That made me know there. That let me know right there, bro. Like, this is not the same fight. This is not. That was, and now after that, he's fighting Pimblton. To me, it was red flags before that. But as far as him basically not being a UFC, like, this may not be a UFC caliber fighter anymore, bro. Like, Bobby Green, when has he ever tapped anybody out? Like, he's not known for that. Like, and Tony Ferguson, that should be Tony Ferguson. When has Tony Ferguson been tapped out? Like, what?
So all that being said, why is it still so hard to believe that Pimblton might beat him?
Because from what I've seen, first of all, I don't think Pimblton's been fighting anybody like that. He hasn't fought anybody in the. Okay. So as much as I'm talking about Ferguson still has been fighting the pretty elite level fighters. Like, Bobby Green is nothing to sneeze on. Like, he's nothing to sneeze on. Like, that's why I said going into that, I don't know. He probably could be Tony Ferguson. Paddy Pimblton been fighting like top 15 fighters, bro. Like, and then when I see from Pimblton too, he doesn't strike me as like, he's not at the caliber of guys that Tony Ferguson's been fighting. And I wouldn't be surprised if Ferguson could hurt him. Like, if he's resembles
about that either.
If he resembles the fighter that he was when he fought at least Chandler, I think he could probably hurt Paddy and keep him off him.
Let me say this real quick.
Yeah.
Just because I said I feel Pimblton said
Pimblton won't win
second round.
I don't know why.
No, okay, fair enough. But let me just say this point. I'm not saying it's gonna be like I said it. I did put this out there, the disclaimer. Ferguson is still in there somewhere. But I'm saying he just keeps making these mistakes, bro. That he's not as sharp as he was. That's the correct term. It's still a knife, but the knife isn't as sharp as it used to be. That's the point I'm trying to make. So I'm still thinking you're still going to see and that's you're still going to see Tony in there being Tony, giving Pimblton issues, and that's why I feel like he was able to still be in the UFC after a 6 fight losing streak because every time he fought, it was never a situation we felt like, yo, Tony's lost it all. It always felt like he just need to make a little adjustment. But as more fights went on, it became like, oh well, how much adjustments could one man make? That's what it felt like.
Probably.
It never felt like
6 fights is 6 fights.
Felt like, it is 6 fights is definitely 6 fights, which is how he got to fight in Pimilton now.
I think they just didn't get around
to hang
him. I just feel like they didn't get around to it. Like I think they got like periods when they cut people, like they make like massive cuts and stuff like that.
If they feel they don't have to offer him a fight, they don't want to though.
That's true. But I just don't. I don't know, bro. And this fight is an interesting fight. Yes, the names are there. You got Pimilton, who they're trying to build, and you have the storyline behind it's I don't know, bro. This is crazy. This is not a fight where it's an interesting fight on paper because of the storyline and circumstance. But moving forward, I don't see where this pushes any one of them along. Really, I don't. I think it's a catch-22 for Pimilton. If he beats Ferguson, especially if he dominates, it's just a bad look all the way around. And if he can't lose. Losing is just bad from altogether. And for Ferguson, if he wins, it's great. I think we're all gonna cheer for him, but he might still get cut. I wouldn't be surprised if he still got cut. I don't know, bro. Because he at this point is difficult to match. He's difficult to match. I don't know what you do with Ferguson. You can't put him up against the elite of the elite. We see how that go. 6 fights in a row. That's crazy, bro. That's a crazy amount of fights, bro.
Bro, but this is why, and again, this is why he is now. Tomorrow night, he's going to be looking across the octagon from Pimilton because of that 6 fight losing streak. And I feel this is the reason why they put him in there with Pimilton because they expect it to be a 7 fight losing streak and just want to give they giving him they want to use his name to put someone else who they want to build up. As soon as I heard that fight, I said, "Oh, this is it." As soon as I heard that this fight was made, my first thought was, "Oh man, they really about to get rid of Ferguson right now." When they put him against Pimilton, and they're like trying to build up, now they're using his name. You know it's almost over for you when they're using your name to try to build someone else up.
But I hear what you're saying. I just don't think it's that I don't see it's a lose-lose, bro. I don't that deep. I feel like they both have names. This is great for the card. That's I honestly feel like that's what it is. I don't think
it's great for the card, but bro,
they both got names. It's good for the card. As far as this propelling I don't see it, bro. This fight is in neutral. Like I don't. This doesn't prove. Like I said, if Pimilton wins it, people just gonna be straight up like, "Yo, Ferguson is really washed." And if Ferguson wins, maybe he hangs around a little longer. But then the UFC are gonna have issues matching him. I just feel like they're gonna have issues matching Ferguson.
I don't think there's gonna be anyone to match it to match with after that, bro. This is why I feel this is an all or nothing type situation if he loses this.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. If he loses, yes. But if he wins, I feel like he's in the same boat. They can't match it. You put him in there against a sniper, like you got guys that's in the top 15. I look at Pat Pimilton, and because he's more of a submission guy, I'm like, I can't see him bullying Tony like he did everybody else. I don't necessarily see that. But then you got guys that's in the top 15 that's snipers, bro.
I don't see him bullying Ferguson either. Again, I still feel Ferguson is in there somewhere. It just those mistakes, bro.
I don't know, bro. I got Ferguson. You got Patty, man. If Patty win this fight, somehow. Bro, it is what it is, bro. I like Ferguson. It's a disheartening thing to see, bro. Especially for a great Great fighter. Like we sit here and we talk about 6-fight losing streaks. We only say it because it's fact, not because you trying to say it.
No.
It's crazy.
Ferguson is, I think we spoke about this before. He's a prime example of why one should be more calculated with their career. Because Ferguson was the dude who said yes to any fight, anytime. He was the anytime, anywhere,
Right.
anyhow guy. That's who Ferguson was.
Yeah.
And I believe putting your body through that much wear and tear without the promise of a chance for the belt is what put him in the situation right now. And to be fair, he did cut weight twice before he fought against Gaethje. He should never have done that. But again, I don't think they should have offered him that fight. I don't know, because he already cut weight
Ferguson?
for this. Yeah.
Well, like you said, in regards to Volkanovski, his team, it ain't Dana White. Dana White fought that they accepted the fight.
You know what? Absolutely right. My own words, you're right. It's not.
Dana White fought, accepted the fight. he a grown man.
He is a grown man.
It would have been cool. It would have been cool, like the point I was making in regards to the situation. It'd have been cool as a promoter looking at it saying, nah, the value of Tony Ferguson is this high. I wouldn't put him through that. But nah, everybody's expendable, bro. Everybody's expendable. No value on the fighter.
Again, so back to the point. This is what happens when you gotta be more calculated with your career.
Nah, I hear you. That's shout out to Leon Edwards. Shout out to John Jones for not taking that Chael Sonnen fight when it was first presented. Shout out to everybody that held out for leverage and got things going their way. Shout out to all of them. They need to be more than that. When you get fighters, problem is when you get fighters that just willing to just jump in at the drop of a dime, and these are fighters with names that don't have to do that. It kills the whole process for everybody. It makes everybody have to bend the knee and become yes men because somebody just like this could take their spot and then be in a pay-per-view and then get favoritism and then they in the back of the line.
Hey.
It's the truth, man. I don't know, man. It sounds like the perfect segue to there you have it.
It is there you have it. There you go. There you have it, guys. There you have it, guys. Yo, tell us in the comment section, what do you think about this Tony the predicament that Tony Ferguson's in right now? Do you think that it's fair that he should be fighting Paddy Pimblett at this point in his career? Do you think he's washed? Do you think that if he wins this fight against Pimblett, he still has a future in the UFC? And if Pimblett wins, what do you think is next for him? And back to the main event. Do you think Covington crossed the line, or you think this is the fight game? Like these dudes, like they're fighters. They try to kill each other. What are words? And what is your opinion on that? You know, what is your opinion on that? You know, hey, it is words. What are words, man? We're trying to kill each other in there. But or do you think he really crossed the line for talking on a deceased family who's actually dead? Tell us your opinions. Please like, share, subscribe, hit notification button so you can be aware of more of our content. And until then, I'm Shelz.
Kev, A-Count Sports, man. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, we do. And this is Fighting Words with Kev and Shelz. Spread the word. Peace.